Welcome to Mad About Money, the podcast that talks all about money. I'm here with Emma Cooper, who is founder, I can't even say my words right today, founder of the Entrepreneursity. Emma, tell us about it. Tell us what you do.
Entrepreneursity is an online learning platform. I got really frustrated with having to pay tens of thousands of pounds for learning different things in business. And also when you're into multiple streams of income, which is obviously the best way to go with money, it can be really expensive to learn. So I wanted a one-stop shop for entrepreneurs, basically, so you can come in, learn how to build streams of income in lots of different industries, and everything is in one place. It's low cost, but there's a lot of help and support and guidance. There's courses in there that, would cost tens of thousands outside. So that's what I wanted to do, make learning for entrepreneurs accessible to everybody.
That is wonderful. And where are you today? Because that background is amazing and it's not a fake one.
Today, I'm in Spain. We've moved to the sunshine. We like to travel around, and we've moved to the sunshine for a bit of a lighter and brighter life, I say. We've been through some tough times over, as life throws us all some curveballs. So we've been through some tough times, and it was, we do love the sunshine. We used to live in Lanzarote, and so we decided, let's give it a go again. We're really loving it.
Amazing. So Emma, like I ask all of my guests, What is your money story?
You ready?
Yeah, I'm sitting down. I'm holding tight.
I mean, I'm old. I'm 41 now, so
that is not old.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm 40 this year, not old.
You're still in the golden 30s, though. I think it was just the golden age for me. It was when everything started making sense, especially about money. So I'll take you back to the beginning about, I guess, how I grew up. My first kind of memories and things are like a great life. I know that before that, my dad was a milkman. My mum was at home with us kids. He went and learned to trade because he saw that, to earn more money, you needed to have a skill or a trade. So he went and became a carpenter. He worked his way up to the foreman of a company. And I tell you this story because it's stuck in my head about money. And so he worked his way up to foreman, and then the guy gave him a pay rise. So my dad went home to my mum and said, Michelle, they've given me a pay rise. I'm on £1 an hour more. And back then, that's a lot of money. That's like 35 years ago or something. That's a lot of money. So she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so he goes back to work the next day. The boss calls him in and says, I'm sorry, Kai, we've had to take the £1 an hour off you because the guys have gone mad. And he's like, well, who told them? And he's like, I don't know. Well, if my dad hadn't, then it must have been him. So he was like, oh, no worries, mate. My dad's a really passive guy, not confrontational at all. So he goes home to my mum. He's like, you're going to kill me, Michelle. But he's taking the £1 an hour pay rise off me. I haven't got it because the guys have gone mad. And she said, and he said, well, she said, well, the guy that I married, would have told him to stick his job up his backside. And he said, well, we've got 3 kids and a mortgage. So he went back to work. Anyway, she said, if you don't do that, then tomorrow your bags will be outside the door and me and the kids will be gone.
Ooh, good work, Mum.
She is a ballsy woman, I should say. She believed in him more than he believed in himself,
Yeah.
She saw his value. So we're talking about money, she saw his value and he didn't see his value. So anyway, he went back to work. He did the right thing. He came home, told her, and she said, well, that's lucky because I've hired you a yard. I've got a £5,000 loan from the bank. I've hired you tools. You're up in business tomorrow, so you better get out there and find some work. And
wow.
Luckily for us, he did. And that's the story. I want to tell that because that's what gave us a really great life as kids. They weren't born into money.
No.
They lived, council houses and they didn't have an affluent life growing up. Mum tells a lot about struggle and hardships. So they were kind of the first people, really, I guess, to do well in their generations, I guess. And so we had a really great life, amazing. We had everything really, but Mum and Dad were mega ground. I say grounded, or say common, but we say down to earth. We say down to earth. She's so down to earth. You're I know you mean common in a nice way. Nothing
wrong with being common.
I don't mind being common. So I guess that was at the beginning. And then I saw Dad's business like did really, really well. Lived in a lovely house in the countryside. And then I went through school. I wasn't very academic. I was smart. I was super switched on. But I just didn't enjoy the learning about stuff that I just was not interested in at all.
No.
So I scraped through school with 6 GCSEs, and then I got my first job. I always worked from the age of 13. Like I remember going through the yellow pages, ringing every single restaurant, bar, takeaway in Newport, asking them like, can I get a job? How old are you? 13. It's like, they were like, it's illegal. Like, okay. So I thought, now I have to lie. I realized like I got to lie. So I lied, got a job as a waitress, earned a fortune. I loved it.
Brilliant.
And that's where my relationship with money started, I guess, because I used to save it away. I used to put it in my mum's cupboard in a little cup. And I used to always count. I remember going to Canada, I had 500 quid. That's a lot of money in it. I was only 13, 14. So that was my first job. But then after, it all went a bit tits up, really.
Good way of describing it.
With money, because I then went into call center jobs, and my self-esteem, my self-worth was just really, really low. I was earning about £800 a month working full time, and I just thought that was my ceiling. Like that was just me, because I didn't go to uni. I didn't do what my friends did. I thought this is just going to be in my life. But I thought that doesn't matter, because all I want to be is a mum. So it doesn't matter about money. I'm going to be the most amazing mum. And then, you know, as time went on, a long-term relationship that I had ended. So, you know, I wasn't closer to becoming a mum. So I thought, let's focus on something else. Started my first business with my sister in a beauty salon. That went really well, but the stress was like another level for me, because I didn't have a ceiling on my work ethic. I would just work like crazy, and then I would burn out. That was crap. And then I started working for Gwent Police in their control room, so answering emergency calls.
Yeah.
And then I went into the control room on the radios, directing police officers to call and taking 999 calls, and I loved it. Then I became a police officer. And that was the highest amount of money I'd earned monthly at that point. I was earning £1,600 a month as a police officer, risking my life every day. So probably
that doesn't seem a lot of pay for something that is dangerous.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot for me. So there's obviously, you know, there are people that I don't even think they get paid much more now. And that was 10 years ago I was earning that. It's not that long ago, really.
That's mental.
Every
I bet you saw some really crazy stuff as well.
Yes. But I honestly think like the police kind of made me. I felt like I'd had such a sheltered life before then. I remember ringing my mum as they drove me, because I joined the police in Manchester and I worked in Oldham. And I remember as they drove me around the area, ringing my mum and being like, oh my God, mum, they put sofas outside the spa and they sit outside the spa. I'm like, it's wild here. But she was like, you're going to see a lot more than that, my love, you know. And I did, but it was character forming, if you like. And I really liked it. It doesn't ever matter where you come from, doesn't matter what your background is. There is always a situation to change it. I saw, you know, a lot of people just keep going through the system. And so I saw, God, like you don't ever want to get stuck. But I also saw a lot of people turn things around, and I met some amazing people with awesome like success stories, if you like. And you know, I was inspired, shocked, and definitely got some wisdom and kind of, you know, that kind of stuff from being in the police. I loved it. I really loved it. I loved the challenge which was hard to decide to do something else, because I loved being a cop.
Yeah. What made you decide to leave?
Being pregnant.
Quite a big thing. You kind of want to protect your child, so.
Well, my husband was also a police officer. We met in the police, and then when we got married, the next day I found out I was pregnant. Not so great in Jamaica and all inclusive. Can't drink then.
Oh, did you at least manage to drink on your wedding day?
Yeah, but I wasn't a big drinker then.
And you probably didn't feel particularly great either.
I've learned since how to drink. I couldn't drink back then. So yeah,
comes with age, doesn't it? I think.
everything changes, doesn't it? When you realize you're pregnant. I just was like in this amazing stage of my life where I felt like I really loved my job. I loved my husband. You should think so. It's like day after the wedding day, but
It's still fresh then, like give it a couple of weeks.
I know, 10 years on now. But you know, everything was amazing. And it wasn't until I was getting towards 30 weeks pregnant where I realized I actually had a specific moment where I thought, everything's actually shit. It's not amazing at all. You're doing good. You've been living in this like bubble. And it was like someone just opened the curtains and was like, you know, here, like, no, this is what it's really like. And so I felt really stuck then. I was scrubbing skirting boards in my bedroom, 11 o'clock at night. Sean was on a night shift. And I remember I was literally, obviously a pregnancy thing, scrubbing skirting boards.
Yeah.
And I just happened to look over and glance at what would have been William's nursery, and the cot was there, the wardrobe, the changing table. I couldn't fit in there with my bum. It was that tiny. The house my parents owned, I rented it off them. And I just had this moment of like, what the flipping heck have you done? Like,
you can swear, by the way.
What, you know, I just thought like, it's 31, you live in a house your parents own, all that furniture in there has been gifted by my parents, Sean's parents, the clothes in the wardrobe were gifts from friends. Like, what have you done? How can you possibly, this was not the plan, like how can you give your kids the life that you had?
Yeah.
You've got nothing. And I sat on the edge of my bed and I just sobbed my heart out.
Aww.
Like, lost my shit completely. And it was then that it's like off a film, like a light bulb went off. I remembered that a girl that I used to go dancing with when we were kids had messaged me about making some extra money from home. I didn't know what network marketing was or anything to do with like selling anything. I'd never sold anything before. I tried and I was really crap at it, so I just didn't bother. And so I messaged her and said, look, I know I've ignored you. She kept asking me over probably like a 4-year period.
As they do.
She did it really well, because she didn't keep asking me or bothering me or saying, hey, have you changed your mind now? Or hey, do you need this money? Or what? Nothing like that. It was literally just, she would touch base and it would remind me of what she had offered, but I never replied once.
No.
Because I actually felt rude that I hadn't watched a webinar that I said I would watch. And so I felt really awkward that I hadn't done that. And so I just didn't know what to say. I was like, I feel so that I couldn't log on. I tried to watch it, but I couldn't log on. I was so technically challenged. And so I just, ignored it. And then, of course, in that moment, it's the only thing I could think. And so I messaged her and said, probably don't want to hear from me because I've ignored you for like 4 years, but I really need your help. Like, I need to earn some extra money because I'm going to be going off on maternity and I really want to have time off with my son. So would you be able to help me? Luckily for me, she said yes. I got started, and from there on in, really, it just went wild. So my money story up to then had been, I'm always going to earn this. I'm always going to live in my overdraft. I'm always going to have debt to do nice things, like go on holiday, or feel like an absolute loser and my parents will have to pay, which just made me
bless
feel
you.
like myself. So I wanted to do then.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I'm assuming that you worked really fucking hard though, because network marketing is not as easy as it, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It works for people who put the graft in, right?
Yeah, and you have got to enjoy it. And I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the challenge of learning something new, because I had no idea how to sell, no idea how to speak to people, no idea how to network. I only had 380 friends on Facebook. I wasn't like some influencer. I dipped in and dipped out just to stalk people, really, legally. And that was
what we all do.
That was it. But I guess that, I was really passionate about what I did, because first couple of weeks I earned a few hundred quid, £326, I remember exactly. And I thought, Jesus, if I've done this, when I'm having a wee at work, and when because I was obviously not on the streets then.
No.
As a police officer.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Although you could have earned some really good money there.
Well, I wouldn't have had to leave my home. I probably could have been pregnant, sat in a bath of beans and made a fortune on OnlyFans, couldn't I, nowadays?
Yeah, very true nowadays, yeah.
Anything. Yeah, so I earned the first few £100 and I actually just that little bit of belief in myself, like, maybe I can do this. And then obviously my husband was saying, like, it'll never work. You won't be able to do this, and all you ever wanted was to be a mum, so don't ruin it by starting something now that you're only going to give up on and feel like crap about yourself. And I don't know why, but that actually fueled me. I thought, I'll bloody show you.
Yeah.
And so I did.
Good for you.
So it changed really rapidly, which, I mean, obviously it's a great thing. And when you're in a position where you have no money, you think the answer to everything is money, because it's the one thing you really want, but seems out of your reach. And when I got to the heights of like earning, I actually was like the most depressed I've ever been in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, people think that money is the answer, but money does not buy happiness.
We say that it buys things.
It buys things, yeah.
It can make you happy.
Yes.
But it's not the true like meaning of happiness. And certainly for me, I don't think it is for anyone, even if they think it is. I don't think it actually is. But I went from earning, the £1,600 as a police officer. Within 6 months, I think I was earning around like 15,000 a month.
Wow.
I know.
Just from network marketing, nothing else?
Yeah, no. And then within 2 years, just from network marketing, although I'd started another side business, but just from network marketing, that year I was earning on average like 100,000 a month.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. But one little bit of money advice, my mantra, because I was very much into The Secret. I didn't know anything else about personal development other than like, think good things, have a vision, have a goal, go for it. And I didn't really know anything else. I was a true beginner in every area, like development, business, personal, parenting.
We were all beginners in that one. God, I mean, I still am.
I'm literally like just bumbling my way through. Yeah, so I guess it was like a weird transition, but my mantra was always, I used to sit in my little Renault Clio and I used to wrap my hands around the steering wheel. I used to think that it was a Range Rover because I always imagined security was like a big car where I was safe in. I didn't really like driving that much. And I used to think big car, safe, probably affluent, security. It had all those connotations to me. And so I used to sit in my Clio and I would be like, I've got so much money, I don't know what to do with it. I've got so much money, I don't know what to do with it. And I would play exciting songs and I would feel the feelings that I already had it. Genuinely, like I'd be squealing on my own in the car. Weird, but it worked.
It works though, doesn't it?
I got so much money and I didn't know what to do with it. I could have done so many different things with that first wave of, I guess, wealth, if you like. But I didn't. I did probably what most people who never have money did. I was very generous with like a lot of people around me. I don't regret any of it or lessons. I lost a lot of money on things like cars. I didn't understand it. Just let my husband like go and do it. But really I should have been, because I should have been respectful of money. And really, it was kind of like, I didn't really respect it. If my mantra, and if you're listening, like change your mantra to this, but I've gotten so much money and I'm doubling it and trebling it or quadrupling it, or it's multiplying faster than I can count.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone would have just told me that might have made a difference, But I made a lot of mistakes, I guess, with my first sort of wave of wealth. But I learned an awful lot about myself. And like I said, when I was, got to heights, I actually found myself like really depressed. What
would you have changed if you'd have got that money again? And I know you still got it now, but what would you have done differently?
I would have just slowed things down. I just wanted to help so many people as fast as I physically could. And I wanted to be as generous as I could be.
Yeah.
Because it made me feel good.
It does make you feel good. It does.
It does. And, you know, if being generous and being able to help people makes you happy, which it does, it really makes me happy. It doesn't have to be a monetary thing attached to that. You can help people in other ways that didn't require money. But if that's where you find happiness, then you've got to get money in order to do that. So for me, I think money is a magnifier. I very much find that out at that kind of level of my journey, because then you're around different people. You're around people like that earn more. You're around people that have reached different levels of success. And I'm such an observer. Like, I love watching people and looking at them and thinking, I wonder why they made that decision. I wonder why they used those words. And isn't that interesting? They thought that and they didn't think that, or they treat people this way instead of this way. And there were some things that I observed that I thought, bloody hell, like, I never, ever want to be like that. I will never be like that. But from what I observed, I realized money is a magnifier. If you're a dick, you're a bigger dick with money. And it's so true. And if you're a generous person or a nice person naturally, you become nicer and more generous with money. I don't think money makes you bad. I don't think people with money are bad.
It's a commodity. All it is a thing that you can swap for other things. That's all it is. People put so much emphasis on money being something that changes you, but all it is something that you swap for something else. And that could be anything. You can swap time for something else, but money is better.
That's so true. I think that, like, on the way to getting to be the person who earns whatever amount you say you want to earn, or there's a dream amount for you or whatever, you become a totally different person. Not in a bad way that you become a money hungry person. You have to develop and evolve and become wise and become skilled in different things in order to make that money. Nothing's going to happen from now until tomorrow, unless you win the lottery, that will give you wealth without you changing. Because the person you are today is earning X amount, and that's what you are today. Not you.
Absolutely.
But it's, you know, that's the reality today. The only way it will change is if you become, and I say more, I don't mean like you're any less of a person, or who you are isn't enough. We're not talking about who you are, though.
No, I totally agree. Totally agree. I think it's I mean, I know that in the past I really thought that I was bad with money, but no person is actually bad with money. It's circumstances that are around you that affect how you act around money. You're never bad with money. I don't think. And the thing that affected me really badly was trauma. I think things, you know, people, if you look at underlying issues with money, how you feel around it, how you behave around it, there's always some form of something that is there that has affected that. So when I went to university and I got myself into £40,000 worth of debt, it was because I had trauma around a breakup with an ex-boyfriend and my parents getting divorced. I just never identified that because I didn't think that was why I was bad with money. I just thought I was bad. So I would always say to anybody who thinks they're bad with money, you are what you think, essentially. And and trying, you know, I used to, when I first started my first business, there were a lot of things that I gave away for free. Now I don't give anything away for free. And I have been sort of commended by people on Facebook who have messaged me when they've seen that I'm charging for something that I used to give away for free, going, "Oh my God, Maddie, you're charging for something. This is amazing." And I'm like, "Oh my God, people actually want to buy my shit. Like, what?"
Of course.
What?
Well, I think crazy. With money, people associate it with a value, right?
Yeah.
So, but with maybe, I don't know, free business information or free money information, maybe they don't see the value in it because there isn't like a money thing attached to it. So it says more about them and their perceptions than it says about you or your freebie or how you value your time.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I'm a business coach, and an entrepreneur runs multiple streams of income, and yet I don't charge tens of thousands, an hour, a month, a year to work with me, because that does not make me feel good. And I don't see that an amount of money is my value as a business coach. But I know that all kind of trainings teach you that, well, if you value yourself and your time is valuable and this is what it should be. But I don't sign up for taking on like other people's beliefs or values about money and things like that. I do what feels good. So having Entrepreneursity at a price point that I could help thousands and thousands of people, as we have already, that feels good to me. Going out and and yes, I could just do a course or a one-to-one that was, 10 grand, and I could charge each person that. I mean, I've done it before. I've sold £87,500 worth of a course that I did, and then I gave everyone the money back. So I was like, I don't want to do this. It just didn't feel good.
No,
I didn't start it. I just was like, no, I'm not feeling it. It didn't sit right with me. It was like a £3,500 course. I didn't want to do things at that price point. So I'm like, it doesn't feel right. I'm changing it up.
and that's really important. And it's good that you recognise that as well.
Yeah.
Integrity, my love. That is what you have. Bucket loads of it. And I love it.
You've got to do, I think if you're a good person, you'll do good things, unless you get caught up in either other people's thinking or you lose touch of yourself. Or we've all had it where you've been to a dark place and then all of a sudden you look back and you think, oh, I thought I was behaving perfectly normally, or I thought I was okay. And when it's only with the benefit of hindsight, you think, I was really fucked up.
Yeah, it does happen, doesn't it? So what happened then? What made you leave network marketing?
I haven't left, as in like I actually still get an income right now as it stands.
Amazing.
From my network marketing business. But my sister got diagnosed. We were living in Lanzarote, myself, my husband, and my son, my eldest son. I now have a 2-year-old as well. So I've got. I now have
a 4-year-old in with me. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
We're live recording, Squeaky Pum. Do you want to say hello? This is Harry. She has chicken pox.
Oh no, not the pox. Is it
the pox? Yeah, it's not as itchy as it should be, is it? Why is Daddy not looking after you?
How have you escaped?
Yeah, you escaped from downstairs. Can you go back downstairs and see Daddy, because Mummy's recording?
We don't.
You can sit here if you're quiet.
You can listen, but it might be a bit boring for you.
It might be a bit boring.
Might be.
Do you want to listen?
You can sneak up.
You don't want to listen.
If I'm too boring.
Go on, go back downstairs and see Daddy for me. Thanks, babe. Love you. Oh, squidge out.
Well, actually, that's a good link, because Will's was 4-year-old when we moved to Lanzarote. I don't like feeling trapped. I like the sense of freedom. And so just before, go on, you're all right.
It's all right, no, they're gone.
It's so different to me. I normally do it with screaming kids, like it's fine. Yeah, so just before William was 4, I think it was 3 weeks before he was due to start school, just didn't feel right. We went on holiday to Lanzarote, said the words as we drove to the villa. Who the hell would want to live here? 3 weeks later, we made the decision to live there.
Wow. What made you change your mind? Like,
no, the sea, water, light. I didn't even have to be like, just everything to me seems lighter and brighter. And I can't be doing with the whole pretentious, like, you got to wear certain things, you got to dress in a certain way, you've always got to be immaculate. And I used to think that was success. That was the thing in my head of like, you wear nice clothes, you always get your nails done. Listen, these are the first set I've had on in months, because yesterday I literally looked homeless. I looked really bad, and I thought, but this is about self-worth for me.
Yeah, no, I think it's important. I mean, I might make a little tiny bit more effort now, seeing as like after I was on GB News this morning, one of the comments on Twitter was, she looks like she needs a really good wash. I was like,
people are brutal. Oh no, God,
what
they say about me. God, don't you worry. I'm receding. I'm like, I've just got a massive forehead, but thanks very much. And I did lose my hair, so technically, I guess that is receding.
Yeah.
Like, how mean.
I know. What is wrong with people? It was a woman as well. So the first thing I said was, hey, women supporting women. Twat.
I just think you've got to laugh and you've got to be grateful for those people that they
Oh,
raise
yeah.
their hands and show you the people who are not your people. I always think anybody who's got the time to sit behind a phone or a computer looking at people they don't like, and they give the thumb power, risk of arthritis and RSI, to actually comment a mean comment says way more about them than
Oh, it so does. But I love it. I actually quite enjoy comments like that. Yeah, it's quite funny because I think
I feel bad for
stupid.
my kids.
Yeah,
I feel
you just
really
think,
bad for my kids. I think if this is what it is now, our poor children,
oh, it's going to be horrible, isn't it?
I think
Yeah.
it is.
Anyway, we digressed.
So we moved to Lanzarote in the sunshine. Everything. We'd lost a friend. He was 31 and he had been run over. He died in 2017. And then, so we were just sort of like, you know, getting life back to normal. 2018 was a good year. And then 2018, we moved to Lanzarote. And then 2019, business was growing, everything was really great. And then I got a phone call from my sister's husband, to say that my sister had been diagnosed with a very rare and very aggressive cancer. And my sis was 40 at the time. And she was like the girl crush that everyone had. Nick was. She had the six-pack. She was absolutely beautiful. And so it was just hard to believe and hard to swallow. So immediately we got on a plane 2 hours later back to the UK, and we moved back. And then we went through Nick's journey with her. And that was 20 months until she passed away. And I tell you, the relationship I had with money in that time was just complete and utter gratitude. I didn't feel worried. Anyone knows when hard times happen, like I didn't really give a shit about anything else. I just didn't care. Take every penny, take everything I own, everything, just to
make it not be that situation. Yeah, I really, really can sympathize with that. You know, I think last time we spoke, I told you about my mother-in-law and about the fact that I just lost my business and I had debt collectors chasing me. I had ex-investors who were trying to sue me, and it was honestly, it was the worst time of my life. But then my mother-in-law passed away, and I just thought, fuck this shit. Come at me, fucking come at me, because I'm ready. Like, there is nothing that.
You're so strong.
Oh, thanks. So are you, mate. So are you. But you know, it's crazy how really shit situations can be quite positive at times. You know, that obviously when you're going through them, they are the fucking worst thing. But I don't think if my mother-in-law,
if you're always open to learning and growing,
and
there are always lessons to learn in things. I don't think there never feels like a reason for losing Nicola, or a positive of that at all.
No.
But if there is a positive, it will be the lessons that I learned along that journey.
Absolutely.
And so that's what made me change really the direction of business that I was doing. I'd done network marketing. I also had a planner business that was really successful. Alongside that as well, I knew the power of multiple streams of income. All industries go up and down and up and down and up and down. And if you find industries that you put your businesses in, not the same industries, but different businesses, then when one is taking a hit, the other one might be on the rise. If you've got, 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them, 6 of them, 7 of them, then you know that on average, like, this is where you're at, this is the level you're up to. I also think if you master, I always ask on my channels, and when I'm speaking to people, everyone's got like this kind of happy figure. Oh, I'll be happy when I'm earning this amount, or I'd be happy if I was earning this amount. I'm always interested to know what people's happy figures are. But I would say the majority of people always go to around 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 plus.
Mm.
When I speak to these people, I'm like, have you ever built a business? No, I haven't got started yet. So I'm like, so would you not get started unless you thought it was a £3,000 a month stream of income? And they're like, well, that's what I'd want to earn. I'm like, what about 500 quid? Like, will 500 quid make a difference in your family? Yeah. Well, any business that I've built, and those have got to tens, hundreds of millions in sales, any business I've built, I've always started with 500 quid in mind. If I can make 500 quid in profit, I can make 2,500. I do 5 times what I did with that one, whether that's 5 times the amount of leads, whether it's 5 times the amount of traffic, whether it's 5 times whatever, 5 times the amount of that one. If I want to make 10 grand, I do 4 times of what I've just done for that. So for me, I always think people's expectations start off so crazy high. I'm like, maybe that's why I did all right then, because I always had this massive expectation. I'm going to have to work my freaking ass off to earn a few hundred quid in my first business. And I worked my freaking ass off, and I earned a lot more than 500 quid. But I did work my ass off, and I always so honest about that. I'm like, it was wild. I worked 24/7, like literally. Baby was young, I just worked like crazy. And the opposite to that is like, once I built it, which you can only connect the dots looking backwards, I believe that my sister and my brother also were in that business with me together. So we got to have 7 years of traveling around the world together.
Amazing.
Having lots of fun. It was lots of fun. We worked hard, but it was really good fun. Amazing memories now looking back. The alternative would have been that I was in the police every day in Manchester, coming home maybe once a month or once every 2 months and seeing my sister. And then when she was ill, it was lockdown. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine. So I connect the dots looking backwards and think it was all meant to be. It was all meant to be how it happened. But losing Nick, or Nick's journey, I should say, made me realize, like, you have to be secure in order to be free. So
yeah,
I mean, that's why I'm such an advocate of building these multiple streams of income. And I don't care if you're like on the way to the 500 or you're on the way to the 500,000 a month. To me, if you understand the power of it and you're willing to learn, you'll be all right. From there on in, it's most people don't understand the power. They don't understand that they're going to have to learn some stuff. And also that this kind of life is for other people and it's not for them. Well, I think that's BS.
Have you ever tried to launch a new income stream and it hasn't worked?
Yeah.
What would you say to the people who have tried to do something, failed, and they're insecure about it?
You haven't found the thing for you yet, that's all.
Yeah.
But I also think so, like, I tried trading, so I'm shit.
Oh God, I put 50 quid in that trading 212 thing. I look at it and I go, my 50 quid's still there because I haven't done anything with it because it's so fucking confusing. That's what I need for the Mad About Money app. Somebody who knows trading. I'm going to get someone.
Oh, I know a few. A few people. Yeah. But even though I know a few, like, I don't have a passion for that.
It looks boring. I mean, I have a passion for seeing my money grow, but apart from that, not so much.
And her motto is like turning trading pink, which I think is amazing because it's so male dominated. I'm like, what a mission. That's awesome. But I mean, for me, it's not for me. So I've looked at things and I've tried things. And before I started my first business, I tried like Swarovski, like little Converse trainers for kids. We tried a clothing brand, but I had no idea. And I had no help and support. I had nowhere I could go for like 40 quid a month to learn this stuff. I didn't even know how to like properly turn a computer on. So I was on a steep learning curve. I think that most people will base their actions on what they perceive other people's opinions to be of them. And I think you'd be really surprised at what people actually think of you. But what other people think of you.
Do you know what people think of me? I'm interested now.
I think you're amazing.
Oh, I think you're amazing.
I think you're a very free spirit, and I really admire that. I think there's not many people that are as comfortable with themselves that they dye their hair pink and blue.
This is a fair point. Very fair, and yellow and orange and
or
whatever.
Leave their greys.
Look at this bit. This bit is like so luminous. It's unreal. You can't really see it actually, but it's like luminous yellow. It's good.
I admire that. So when I see people out and about who like look different, my son always goes to me, You'd love it. We were walking past someone down in like the village the other day, and there was a lady. She had really short cropped hair. She was kind of like rocker, biker chick, and really short skirt on. And my son, he's only 9, but he just rolled his eyes and he went, "You love her, Mum."
Good. People should celebrate their differences and crazies, right?
I'm so boring. I'm just like plain Jane, you know, but he's like, "You'll love her, Mum."
Do you know what though? I mean, it came from my obsession before I found out I had ADHD, from looking at pictures on Instagram of people who had really bright hair. I honestly, I went through a stage where it was like dopamine for me. I would just look at people with rainbow hair and think, I want that. And when I worked in the corporate world, I couldn't have that because it was so frowned upon that.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. So as soon as I left, I went, fuck you, corporate world. I'm getting dyed hair. And I started off with like little purple tips, and then it's just got gradually brighter.
That says freedom to you, right?
Yeah.
That is freedom, because the opposite programming was you must conform, you cannot have your hair like this. So then the opposite to that is like, right, that's it.
Yeah. I don't do things by the book, really. I prefer much to do things my way. And that's why I'm not very good at being employed.
If you wanted to be good at being employed, you could be good at being employed, but you know how you.
I don't want to be good at that.
Well, exactly. You don't want to be good at it.
No,
you could be, but you don't feel. It doesn't make you feel good. And to be honest, two streams of thinking there. Don't base everything on feelings, because they change so rapidly. So I don't base things, or I don't react to things based on feelings. So I don't spend money based on feelings. I give it time first. You know, when you're in a shop and you're like, oh no, but I just need it, and a million ththings go through your head really fast to justify it.
I know that all too well. I had a spending addiction for years and years and years, and only recently, I dealt with it, and I started to deal with it probably about 10 years ago. What I didn't realize was that actually, until last year, I also had a spending addiction within my business. So I would buy every single fucking expensive course that was out there to try and better myself. And I'd start doing it and then I'd lose interest because it wasn't the course for me. Hadn't found the right person. And then things changed a lot. I actually did Lisa Johnson's one-to-many course, and that was brilliant. And I'm redoing it now. It's very good. But it wasn't right for me at the time. So I'm really glad that it's like lifelong access, because timing
is everything.
It is, isn't it?
Timing is everything. If I'd have joined the first business, 4 years before when she'd have asked, I would have just given up. I'd have just the 99%, rather than the 1% to make it really big or whatever.
Yeah.
I would have just been one of those, because to me, the timing would not have been right.
But
no. Right. It was all great.
And it's about mindset as well. If you're not in the right place, like my business was failing, and I was looking for a magic pill to make it better, and it wasn't set up in the best way. I wasn't charging for things. I was giving away too many freebies, and it wasn't a sustainable business model. And that was one of the things that made me go, because actually for ages I thought, oh no, it's not a very good course. And it's not that, because I'm doing it again and it's brilliant. But it was me. It was me. And I actually posted about this in her group, because she's just started her new challenge, and I posted about it, and so many people were like, wow, thanks for sharing that. And I was just like, it had to be said, because mindset is so important. If you go into something and you're not in the right mindset, you won't succeed in it.
I think the word mindset just confuses people, or they have this thing that mindset is just for woo-woo or fluffy people. Listen, I am very much no bullshit, very black and white.
Same.
Everything you need to give me evidence for, otherwise I just don't believe it. I would like to think, I think I'm spiritual in terms of I believe in other things. I don't believe that it's just it and there's no influences around us, but not in a way where, not just in a way that I've just got belief that, there's something bigger than us. I don't know what that is.
No, I'm exactly the same. I mean, I'm not a God person. I've got friends who are, but I definitely feel I've got on my desk, I've got thousands of crystals. I sit on a crystal because I feel like it gives me energy upwards.
How big is this crystal?
I'll show you. It's not that big. Hang on.
You actually do. You're not fibbing. Wow.
Yeah, it's really smooth, and I like to rub it on my face because I'm a weirdo.
Oh,
But this
please,
is my
Sat your butt on it. Why not?
this is the crystal that changed everything for me. So I used to keep one in my bra, which I thought changed my attitude towards my old business massively. But I came across this one, and it really changed everything. So this is the one that I sit on, and I'm going to put it back just in case I lose it, because otherwise
God, I've tried that carrying around the crystals, but honestly, when I used to take my bra off and it would
they
hit
flew.
the marble floor or the tiles, I would shit myself. And I'm sure the benefits of carrying it are outweighed by the godforsaken fear that I get when it hits the floor. I'm like,
for me, it's my entire house is carpeted, so I don't hear them drop. I forget that I've put them in, and then I lose them, and then I freak out because ADHD, I get very, very much attached to specific objects. And if I lose one, I freak out. So that's why I sit on it now. It's under a cushion. The other day, my child stole it, and I was like, "Give it back!"
I was wondering, isn't that uncomfortable? But I didn't want to say, but it's
no, because it's under a cushion. Yeah, it's under a cushion. So
said that. I was like,
yeah. So anyway, I could talk to you forever because I feel like we have so much to talk about. I think maybe there might have to be like a part 2 of the podcast. But where are you now? I mean, obviously I know you're in Spain, but where are you in your business now?
So with Entrepreneursity, everything is growing, and we are helping more and more students all of the time. Got some big things that we're launching, again, all on the same mission that I was talking to you about things being affordable and accessible.
Brilliant.
For everyone. And then I have other streams of income that I do, I have an Airbnb business, and that's doing really well, and that's growing constantly. So that does really well. We've just started an Amazon business, and we're teaching that we have a free group. Obviously, when we're recording this, we're in March, so have a free group where we're teaching different streams of income. And then inside of Entrepreneursity, we really bulk out those curriculums and teach you how-tos. But we're touching on some of those in our free group. And then well, it's just ever evolving, right? You're just always trying to help more people, always trying to impact, and most importantly, just enjoying the day by day. Not too much pressure.
No.
Even hustle. For me, no, that is not worth a sacrifice to your health.
No.
And you've got to do stuff like that. I've been there and I've done it, and it doesn't work. So I'm really just enjoying. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. So yeah,
it's amazing. You seem happy, so that's a lovely thing. And I really hope that this won't be the last that we see of you. I hope that you'll be in the Mad About Money app talking about what you do, and that we can help more entrepreneurs to make more multiple income streams. I think that'd be really great. So Emma, before we go, where can people find you?
Entrepreneursity.com, so it's entrepreneur and then SITY. Entrepreneursity.com. You can also find me on Facebook under Emma Cooper Online, and then Emma Cooper Online across the platforms, as well as Entrepreneursity across the platforms.
Amazing. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to hear your story and how awesomely you're doing. So really excited to potentially get you on for a part 2. I reckon if we give it a year, God knows what's going to be going on for Emma Cooper at that point. Very, very exciting. For those of you guys who haven't watched the podcast before, or you're watching it in the Mad About Money app, obviously you know where you are, but if you're watching it on YouTube or anywhere else, if you head to Mad About Money official, you can check out the Mad About Money app, where we talk about everything money, from debts to savings to investments to entrepreneurship and more. So I've been Maddie Alexander-Grout, and we'll see you next time.